Hello, and thank you for being here to listen to the presentation that I am doing at the RRCA Run Coach Convention this weekend. I wanted to be able to share this with more than just one person or just the people who are going to be in attendance. So I hope that you enjoy and that you learn something that you're able to apply to grow your run coaching business. So who am I? I am a RRCA certified run coach and a certified endurance nutrition coach. And I have been coaching on the online health and fitness world for 9 years now. And I actually started my career as a CPA and accountant and quickly realized that that was the wrong career choice for me. But I stuck it out for quite a while, working a ton of hours, getting my CPA license, but never really feeling fulfilled by it. I fell in love with running actually as an adult. I was never a good runner as a child. I couldn't even pass the presidential fitness assessment. I could do like a pull up and I could touch my toes and do all this, the shuttle run, but I couldn't run the mile fast enough. And so I really just kind of carried this belief that I wasn't good at running and I didn't enjoy it because it was painful and hard. But after college, I signed up for my first half marathon. I had broken up with my college boyfriend. I was like, I'm going to challenge myself to do this. And I kind of thought I'd be one and done. But I loved the feeling at the finish line. And that was kind of it. But then I met my husband and he had just completed his first Ironman. And he was a good influence on me. And so I decided I wanted to run another half marathon to try to break 2 hours. And then it spiraled from there into my first marathon, my first Ironman triathlon, and then the goal of qualifying for Boston, which I have achieved 2 times and just proved to myself that I could be a great runner, even if I had a rocky start. So back when I ran my first marathon and I was doing strength training and nutrition, a nutrition program, I started blogging and sharing that experience online. That eventually morphed into this idea that I could potentially coach other people. People were asking me for advice and for, how to run faster, how to eat healthier, how to get stronger. And I just loved sharing that. And so I went to, as I always do, just like I did with running, just becoming a voracious learner and really trying to learn as much as I could. And through this, I also started to mentor and share my knowledge of business with other women who were looking to create online businesses. I left my full-time job and I was able to replace my income with my coaching income and just have this incredible flexibility with my business. I love it. I love everything that I do as a coach. I love now being a business coach with my company Runner Rising, where I help run coaches learn how to create a marketing system that I'm going to cover today to grow and find more clients, gain confidence, and increase their income. I also work one-on-one with more advanced run coaches who are looking for more of that custom run coaching. And I'm a podcast host, so I have a podcast that you can listen to get even more business advice specific to run coaches called Runner Rising. My favorite part about being a business owner is the time flexibility and the fact that I have been able to have 3 daughters. I had 3 kids under 3 at one point, but I was able to continue to do something I love, to earn an income and have that freedom to do what I want with my business and to help other people. I also love that I get to travel because of this. We spent a month in Costa Rica when the kids were 3 and 5. And a couple of years ago, we spent a month in Europe and we were able to work from there. My husband also works from home. So I'm just really passionate about helping other people see that bigger vision for themselves, whether right now you see yourself as this is a hobby, or you are someone who you have made it a career, but you're not quite where you want to be. I know we can always learn. So today I'm going to share with you my 4-step process for marketing yourself as a run coach online. So what happens for most run coaches I find that I work with or that I speak with or interview on the podcast is a lot of times we get into this mode of, we first start our business, we're kind of, offering our services as a discount. And sometimes we can have a bit of lack of confidence in charging our worth. We can rely on referrals a lot, which are pretty inconsistent. So, we don't really know when a new client is going to come in, and we're not even really sure what to do once they do. But, we have this kind of trickling in of referrals. And some run coaches, they run their entire business off referrals and it works great. But other coaches, that doesn't seem to be a sustainable way to grow. So you can attend or host events in the running community, which can be amazing. But if you're someone like me who has young children, that can also be hard. A lot of people run coaches will post running tips on social media or share their personal running journey on social media, athlete success stories, and those all can work too. And most of the time I see run coaches accepting clients anytime, but really not advertising enough, to be honest, just really occasionally, or hoping that people will realize they're a run coach and ask for information. And usually they say that they work with all types of runners, from that beginner to the experienced and everything in between. I often see that phrase actually out there a lot. So while this can work, it can also lead to inconsistent income, not getting a steady stream of clients, not being fully booked, and really not having that confidence that you're able to go out and find new clients when you want to and need to. You can feel burnt out. You might be taking on more clients than you can even handle because you don't know when the next one's coming through, or you feel this like you don't have good systems in place. You can be overwhelmed with social media to the point that you start to resent it, or you're just frustrated by it. You feel like you're wasting your time. And for those, especially those coaches who are really struggling to get clients, you can kind of just give up on that dream that this could be a career or full-time income. And sadly, I see people even exit the business because of it. So when you put a marketing system into place to help you grow your business and you invest your time in learning this, it can make a huge difference in your confidence, and it can really help you feel, not only get more clients, but just feel really optimistic about where you're headed with your business. And that belief that you have that you can go out there and make and create the business that you want is going to have a huge impact on your outcomes, your results, and your income. So let's just talk about social media, which is a powerful tool to find and attract athletes who need you, but it can feel daunting at times, right? So you can see here, this is a statistic about, or a graphic that shows that Facebook is the most used social media, followed by YouTube, then Instagram. I don't think anyone here, maybe you're going to use TikTok, but we'll talk about some of these. But I would say Facebook, YouTube, Instagram are three of the most common that run coaches are going to be using. And there's really no denying that you're able to just reach so many more people through social media. But social media can make you feel stuck, like you don't have many new followers, you don't get very many comments or likes on your posts, you're not actually connecting with new people, you feel like you're just talking to the same people over and over, and you don't even know if they care. No one's really reaching out to ask for information about your coaching. You can feel overwhelmed because you feel like you need to be on your phone 24/7 to be successful, or that there's just so much information and there's a lot of negativity and you just don't want to be on there. You can be confused, uncertain of what to post. You just don't know what's going to work, and it feels like just really daunting. You can feel insecure because you compare yourself to influencers, highly successful coaches who are really have this big following or this big presence. You can compare yourself to younger coaches who are just doing things that you are not willing to do, like, whatever it is, these day in the life with a million different different images or different angles of themselves. Or when I first got it, was when Reels first came out on Instagram, like the pointing and the dancing. I was like, I refuse to do this. This is not me. You can just feel hopeless because you don't have a system to find new clients, rely on referrals. You can't really imagine building this into a significant income or a full-time career. So the Runner Rising marketing process is 4 steps, and it's going to help you develop a system to grow your business. And the more that you work the system, the more that you learn and refine, the more successful it's going to be. And it really creates this momentum over time. So number 1 is we need to define your ideal athlete and your offer. We're going to create content for that ideal athlete. We're going to build an email list and send newsletters and enroll new clients monthly and build a wait list. And while this can take some energy and time to set up, once the system is going, it really, really just starts to fly. And a lot of this stuff can be repeated. There's ways to make it more efficient. And we're going to go through some of that today. So defining your ideal athlete, which is your niche and your offer. So I don't know how many of you have a niche right now, or you would think of yourself as having a niche. if you struggle with this all or nothing, like you have a special type of person you help, I encourage you to just think about that you specialize in something. So you can say, I specialize in injury prone runners versus saying, I only help injury prone runners. And that can kind of help you wrap your mind around it. But it's really important to have that ideal athlete in mind when you are creating your coaching offer, when you're creating any kind of marketing for your run coaching business. Because right now in the way that the climate is online, you are going to get completely lost if you do not niche down. So when you identify who is this ideal athlete, I want you to think of a current client that you enjoy working with and you feel like you're really well suited to help them. Or just think of yourself. So what is something that you used to struggle with in your running that now you feel like you're really good at, you're like an expert in, or you're really qualified and you really enjoy helping people. So it's kind of both of those things. So you might be really qualified in helping someone with one thing, but if you don't enjoy coaching people on that, then that's not the best niche. So some of the examples are that some of my clients and people I've had on my podcast have as niches, which is injury prone runners. This is really a big one, especially with personal trainers or people who I've even had a yoga instructor who specializes in injury prone runners. You want to get a little bit more niche even than that, but that's just a start to where your content is going to really focus on that. Faith-based runners. I just had a woman on the podcast who is a faith-based run coach, and she really embraces that niche, and it has helped her create so much fulfillment, and it makes her really stand out on social media to find those women who are going to resonate with her message. One of my clients, who's a brand new coach named Daphne, she is a Run Disney coach. So she got her coaching through RRCA. And through my program, we identified that she wanted to help Disney runners. And all she does is talk about helping Disney runners and sharing her experience with Run Disney coaches. And within her first month of doing this, she got new clients that she didn't know. Like not, a friend of a friend or something, like just completely coldly people that came to her from social media that found her posts because she was so niche down. So you want to know about your ideal athlete, what they struggle with. And ideally, this is kind of an urgent problem, and it's something that they know they're struggling with. We'll talk about this a little bit more, where we'd always want to market to the problems that our clients are aware of and not the things they're not aware of. So like the underlying issues, right? For example, in like the weight loss industry, you're marketing to the fact that they are struggling with weight gain. You're not marketing to the fact that they're struggling with emotional eating due to like a childhood trauma, right? We're marketing to the weight gain, even though we know that if we help them with mindset, it's going to help solve their problem, but they don't care or know about that. So you want to think about, what does your ideal athlete struggle with? Bonking in races, getting injured, like feeling like their faith or their running is taking away from their relationship with God, knowing how to navigate Run Disney races because they're really unique, right? So what do they desire? So what are their goals? What are their aspirations? What do they want? Why haven't they achieved this goal? So what's standing in their way? Why haven't they done it? What have they tried before that didn't work? You want to know this. And what do they have in common with you? So this is where we connect through a shared interest or our history or a problem we've both struggled with. And they are going to connect with you on this. This is an important part of coaching, because when someone hires a coach, they are not just hiring someone to make them a plan. You're entering into a relationship with this athlete in a way. And so they need some level of personal connection with you. Won't you lose people if you only speak to one type of person? No. You may lose some people. Yes, I guess that's the answer. But you're going to gain way more people. You will lose people in a saturated market online if you don't niche down. They actually won't even be yours in the first place. You will never stand out with doing generic posts about running. Unless you are a giant, social media following, have a giant social media following already, you can't speak to the masses. You must niche down. The exception to this is in-person coaching. So you don't need to niche down if you are the local run coach that hosts the local group, and then people from that group hire you. You don't have to be niched. Although probably the group probably has a vibe, right? Like the type of people who come to the group. So there is kind of even a niche there. But I do think being locally niched is different than looking for like a national or international audience. There's these quotes for a reason, which is the riches are in the niches, and speaking to everyone is speaking to no one. So this is something that people will really struggle with social media, is like making their content just really pared down because they don't want to like leave people out. The problem is you're just, instead of leaving people out, you're just not including anyone when you speak very generally. You will still attract people outside of your niche, and you will get referrals if you niche down. And you'll get referrals from people that you don't even know that well, that aren't even your clients, which is pretty crazy. So Daphne, as I was mentioning, the Run Disney coach that I had in my program, she got a referral from an Instagram follower that had never worked with her. And that person became a client, the referral. So just because she specialized in Disney and her friend was doing a Disney race, she decided to refer Daphne to her. So obviously it works, right? It does work. So people connect to each other through shared experience. They want someone who can understand them. I have another client that I will talk about in our example who ultimately, going through the program, she thought that her niche was going to be strength training and runners, but we determined that her niche was actually women who work in demanding corporate jobs, because that's her. She's a part-time run coach. She works full-time, and she truly understands what it's like to have a meeting go over and miss your run, or go on a work trip and have to run while you're on the work trip. So she started speaking to that, and she became so much more confident and started to actually attract people to her and get traction. Whereas before she was completely stalled out, not getting any leads at all. You want people to want you and only you to be their coach, because they've seen your content and they're just looking at it and they're thinking, and they go to your website and they're like, this person can help me, and this person knows me, they understand me. And that's what happens when you niche down and you really understand your ideal athlete. You can get messages like I've gotten, like this one, that when she said, oh my God, I've never read anything that described me so perfectly at this moment in life. Really. And then she ended up signing up for my program because she saw this and she thought, this woman understands me at a level that no one could understand if we didn't have that shared experience, or they hadn't coached people like me. So we're going to take 5 minutes to complete our ideal athlete worksheet. So you're just going to want to fill this out. I'll set a timer, and then I'll ask a few of you if you want to share. But where is your ideal client currently? Where do they feel stuck? Remember, when you're doing this exercise, to use language that your athlete would use themselves. So imagine them, they're either inner monologue, or they're talking to a best running friend on a run, or their husband or their spouse. And what would they say? What are the complaints or the words they'd use? And then what are their goals? Again, in their words. And why have they not changed? What excuses they have? What obstacles are in their way? And again, this is what they think their excuses and their obstacles and their problems and their goals are. Even if you know as the coach that their problem, the reason why they keep bonking in their marathon is because they're not pacing well, they're not searching for a coach to help them pace. They're searching for a coach to get them the PR, right? So just remember, the words you're using are what your client is thinking, not what they need to work on, right? We know some of the times that they need to work on things. All right. So I'm going to set a timer for 5, you can pause the video since you're watching it and do this exercise and then come back, or you can complete it at the end of the video. So after we know who our ideal athlete is, we're going to go out and create content for them. This is social media content, but also the information that you have on your ideal athlete should be on your website. It should be in your marketing materials. Pretty much anything that talks about you as a coach should involve you bringing in your niche. So we're going to create content for them. You only want to create content for your ideal athlete. I mean, on occasion, we can throw in just like you feel like creating something else. But remember, you're on social media because it's your business. You're not on social media to use it to just be friends with people, and you keep a Facebook account for that, right? You're on social media because you're a coach. This is your business, and you are going to go out and you are using it to find clients and to educate and to empower people and to to show people a different way, right? So your content should all be geared towards those struggles and goals and excuses that your potential clients have, and your current clients. You get a lot of content from what your current clients are saying or struggling with. And your content should help people trust you, know you, and like you. And the reason why I want to distinguish between this is I often see people creating just like trust means when they trust you, they believe you can help them. You're a certified run coach. You have experience. You have testimonials of people who have experience. You're showing them knowledge and helping them learn something, right? So those kind of like trust type posts. I mean, those like, what are they called? Educational posts would be in the trust category. You also want people to know you, though, because as a coach, they're entering a relationship with you. They're going to be on a Zoom call with you. They're going to have check-ins with you. They kind of want to know who you are. And people remember stories far more than they remember facts. So even though we think, yeah, we want to educate people, most of the time people actually want to feel something, to be connected, to be entertained, to hear a story, to feel like they're not alone in their experience. So you're going to do these type of posts. You're going to remember when you're creating content, not just to educate, but also connect with people through your own stories, your clients' stories. This is storytelling. The third one is like you. And when we want people to like us, it just means that we want to connect with people on different topics. So whether you are really into dogs, or when I introduced myself earlier, I talked about travel, and maybe you connected with me because you love traveling too, right? It's like those little things, they do make a difference in the process of having someone hire you as a coach. You're going to be more likely to hire someone. Like at the end of the day, there's a lot of coaches out there, but if you're going to human nature is almost always going to have you picking the person that you think can help you achieve your goals and that you actually like, right? And you feel like you know them in some capacity versus you don't know them at all. So just remember that creating content is a skill. We're going to go over some examples. But you'll get better the more that you do it. And it doesn't have to be a huge time suck. So make sure you leverage your strengths with content, meaning you go on the platforms that you like to use, the platform that you like to use the most and that you relate to the most and that leverages your strengths, whether that's video content because you do like to do video. Like I was terrible at video in the beginning. I was not naturally good at public speaking or doing presentations like this. This has been because I have coached hundreds of people on business and I've done many presentations and I've gotten better at it. I'm not even the best, but I'm better at writing. So for me, when I first started, I started with a blog and Instagram when it was captions were the big part of Instagram. And I did well there because I enjoyed writing and I enjoyed reading other people's blogs and other people's Instagram. And I was able to connect with people and build relationships there because it was a natural strength that I got better at and I was leaning into learning. So if you hate all social media, then maybe you got to go in the in-person route, but there's got to be one that you feel like you are a little bit closer to and that you can get better at. So here's some of the pros and cons of some of the top social media platforms when you're thinking about, again, your own personal values, strengths, and where you want to spend your time. But Facebook is a very common place for run coaches to find clients, largely in their own market or market through groups, either that they've created a group or that they go into a group and, leave comments or, give people advice when asked. Or if the best thing you can use for a Facebook group is have your clients, if someone's in a Facebook group and they ask for a referral for a run coach, if they tag you, that's probably the best way, but that's also organic, right? You're not going to tell people to go do that. But do know that 70% of 50 to 64-year-olds use Facebook. So it is a place that's your ideal audience. Maybe you are looking towards more masters runners and retirees is your niche. Facebook would be a better place. Instagram, the ideal audience is 25 to 45 years old. It is the most visual platform in the sense that it's visual, it's quick, and it didn't used to always be this way, but in terms of being quick, but now it's really about those reels. Don't worry, you don't have to dance or point or lip sync or do anything. I teach a very easy way to make social media content. It doesn't have to be crazy, but you do need to be able to learn the skills on how to grab people's attention. It is also the easiest platform to find new people, but it's also harder to build trust on there because there's so many people on Instagram. So you have to learn the skills to capture their attention quickly, create that value or that connection, and then ideally move them on, which is going to be step 3, onto an email list to develop that relationship more. YouTube is great because it is searchable, meaning that once you create a YouTube video, it is in the algorithm forever. And if it is very niche down, for example, like I was looking for ideas for race week workouts for a 10K. And if you did a video that specifically said something like that, it would be more likely to hit the algorithm than if you, like on YouTube, you could never, and same with blogging, you could never do a post that was like 5 tips to run faster because it would never end up being in the search. But if you get really niche, you could use YouTube. I also have heard that it is a better option for coaches who are 50 plus. That market, if you're trying to market to people who are 50 plus, they are more likely to sit down and just watch you speak and teach without it needing to be, this super highly produced YouTube like docu-series or movie. And then Substack, blogging, threads. If you like to write, I'd encourage you to lean into these. So blogging is a little bit more, I wouldn't say it should be your main platform anymore. It could be more of that like next step for people to learn more. But Substack and Threads are both searchable. They're both places where you can end up in the algorithm. People can start sharing your insights and your writing. You can engage with other people via writing. There's no photos required. So I would look into those if you like writing. All right, so you know who that ideal athlete is, and now you're thinking, okay, I know which platform I want to work on. How do you come up with ideas? So I have those 5 content buckets are the problem, desire, consequence, excuse, and interest, and I have some examples here. You're going to be able to get the slides later if you want them. But I'm just going to go over these examples. So you're going to want to create content around each of these. You don't really want to create things around a lot of posts and spend time on anything but this, right? So I have 5 different niches here that I'm talking about, but I want to give you some examples. So let's say that the person's problem is they get injured every time they run over 35 miles per week. The post could be, you can list 3 reasons why runners get injured when they increase mileage, how to prevent it. But I would specifically say, being specific on social media is very important right now. It really helps you stand out. So that if you could say, here's why you might keep getting injured every time you go over 35 miles a week, and then list those reasons in the caption. The next one would be the desire to qualify for the Boston Marathon at age 50. And you could tell a story about a client who's over 50 who qualified for Boston after going through menopause, get even more specific, how you adjusted the training schedule and dealt with some of the challenges they had. A consequence could be that this person is feeling anxious and undertrained at the start line of their race because they missed long runs because their kids kept getting sick. So this is like a niche of a mom with young kids. And you could do a post that shares, it's like connecting with them, telling a story about a time that you gave yourself grace and like you had set this goal maybe when you were 1 year postpartum to, run a half marathon at a certain time, and, kids kept getting sick and you thought that maybe that would never happen. But then when they got older, you were able to train and you did hit that PR. And so that post would just be something that connects people with you. It tells a story and it helps them relate to you and gives them a little bit of hope that yes, they could still have a lot of PRs in their future, even though right now it doesn't feel like it. So an excuse that your ideal client might have is they feel like run coaching is just for people who are fast. So the excuse category is a great opportunity to handle objections about your business and about why people wouldn't hire you or use a run coach, or why they don't use a run coach year round. And so you could explain the benefits of run coaching for back of the pack runners. So what are some other reasons why run coaching is valuable besides working on a time goal even, right? If they don't have a time goal, why would they want a coach? Again, we're going back to the Disney marathon. So say that their interest is Disney marathons. You could post a story from your last Disney trip with pictures. It's as simple as that. You're just sharing, but you're connecting back to your ideal athlete always. So you sharing a story from something else that's not related to your ideal athlete is not going to be as useful as sharing a story that's going to connect with them. All right, so now it's time for a 5-minute break again for you to fill your content category worksheet. So I went ahead and made this example from my client, Allison, with her ideal athlete, who is that corporate working runner who is competitive at marathoning, but she just has a really demanding work schedule. So if you want to look at this for ideas as you complete your worksheet, that can help. And I also talk here about like, how do you uniquely serve this client in a way that other coaches might not be able to, because you want to make sure you're communicating that. All right, so 5-minute break. You either pause the video or just do this at the end. All right, step 3, we're moving along, is building an email list. So consumers are 40 times more likely to purchase from an email than they are from social media. When people are on social media, they are there more to be entertained or inspired, educated. And when they are on their email, they are more likely to buy. We often buy from the ads. We don't unsubscribe from emails, at least I don't, that are related to things we're interested in. And if you are building an email list, the way you do it is you offer a free resource, such as my pricing guide for run coaches, which is one of my free resources for Runnerizing. My podcast is also a free resource that I utilize. And you're going to create that. You're going to build your email list from that. So when in order to download the resource, they're going to have to enter their email address, and then they're going to go on your list. The really cool thing about this is you can set up a drip campaign or it's an email series in your in your mail provider. And after they download it, it will send them a series of emails. You've written these emails one time, but now they are getting sent to your ideal athlete over a period of however long, maybe it's 2 weeks. And they're learning about you as a coach. They're getting tips related to the resource. You're trying to get them to actually use the resource, and you're creating value for them. You're helping them trust you and get to know you. And then you're explaining that you are a run coach and that if they want to just, schedule a discovery call, that they could join you. Even if they don't join you after those first 5 emails, because especially depending on where they came from. So maybe this person just saw you, found your free resource for the first time. They're not super likely to hire you as a run coach right away, because maybe they're just not ready. They don't want to run coach right now, but they are interested in your guide. Over time, if you are continuing to send a newsletter, whether that is monthly, bi-weekly, or weekly, that's just an email that you take, you can repurpose it, meaning taking a social media post you've already created, putting it into an email, and you're sending them, and you're helping people, you're working through all of those 5 things, the struggles, the consequences, the pain points, and they're hearing from you. You're top of mind. So when they make the decision to hire a run coach, you're going to be one of the people they think of. So this is also really nice because emails have a much higher open rate. So if you have, from 20 to 40% of your email list will actually open it, versus on social media, maybe 1 to 3% of your followers see your posts. So people are way more likely to see your social media content. You also know that these people are here to hear from you. They've opted in, versus social media. It can sometimes feel like, who knows who's going to see it, right? Because it could get spit out into the algorithm. So I am a huge believer in email. I enroll a majority of my clients from email. And I love writing, so it's part of it, but I'm a really big believer in it. And the last one is enrolling new clients monthly. So what I recommend and what I teach is that you create yourself, to give yourself this 7 to 10 day window each month where you focus on speaking about your run coaching more often. So I call it your launch period. You want to there's a few reasons why you would want to do this. Is number one, I find most run coaches just completely avoid marketing themselves. So they might mention that they have open spots on their roster once a month. But if you do a 7 to 10 day marketing window, and during that time, I encourage you to talk about run coaching in some way, almost every day, whether that's on your email or it's in a post, it's on in your stories or you're following up with people who were interested in the past, it gives you this nice little timeline where you sit down, you know, it's time to get to work. I'm going to spend more time on marketing. You can schedule your month that way. Maybe you take fewer run coaching client calls those weeks or whatever. And you just mentally set aside this time to market, because every month that you do this and you talk more to your ideal clients' pain points and struggles, and you tell them that you can help solve their problem, that is going to add up over time to more and more people who are interested, and they know that you're a run coach and they want to join you. It also can create some urgency and scarcity if you were to say things like, I have 3 spots open right now for new clients, or, you know, the enrollment ends on this date. You can kind of decide how you want to do that, but you're going to use that email list and your social media to market yourself. I really like it, and my clients really like it, because it allows them to have that focused time and then not stress about it the rest of the time. Just focus on coaching and creating content, and not really feel like they're in that sales mode. That can feel at times uncomfortable, but this can help it become more comfortable, because you are a business owner. Unfortunately, we can't just be a coach unless we're getting leads fed to us somehow, but otherwise you got to go market yourself, and you can have fun with it, I promise. All right, how long will it take to do this? Well, first, you understand that if you're, depending on where you're starting, I just want to give you some encouragement that just baby steps, right? One step at a time. And it, just like run coaching, it'll really depend. So depending on your current social media experience and how natural you are at creating content, how much you need to learn about it, and how willing you are to invest time in resources and in learning. But, you know, social media posts may only reach 1 to 3% of your followers, but if you know how to create really good reels or engaging social media posts, they can get pushed out to a lot of people, like up to, depending on the person, like way more people than followers that you have. Like, I'll have clients who have only 500 followers, but a post they have might get seen by like 15,000 or 2,000 people. And if they have a good opt-in there onto their email list, these people might join their email list even without following them. So once they get on your email list, a good open rate is 20 to 40%. 20 is on the low, like average, and then 30% is great. If you have a discovery call, a good close rate is 30%. Most of my clients get more than this, but that is a pretty good amount. So if 1 in 3 people you have a call with sign up, that's great. If it's less, that's concerning. If it's more, maybe you should raise your prices. I don't know. Just remember that most people need to see your message 7 to 10 times before making a purchase. And this isn't a purchase. This is a coaching relationship. So the timing of your client is really going to come into play a lot more. It's not like a lipstick where someone's online and they're like, oh, I could use this anytime. They are going to have more concerns about when they want to run coach. Do they have a race coming up? Did they just have a bad race, right? So although your marketing can help warm them up and can help them consider you, part of it is just being patient and continuing to work your system and show up consistently, whether you have an amazing month 1 month or a slower month the next. It's going to kind of vary, but as long as you are continuing to do these things, it is going to make a big difference, and it is going to pay off. So your take-home assignment is to complete your marketing plan and really set some goals for how many athletes you want by the end of the year. What social media platform will you focus on? And really just fill this out and kind of, you know, set some goals. And if you want to get the slides, the pricing guide, and my weekly newsletters, you go to runnerrising.com/bonus, and I will get you that information. So I'm going to open it up for questions. If you're watching this replay, feel free to send me a question. You can reply to this email or the email you got, or send me a message on Instagram at runner_rising. But continue to learn by going to the Runner Rising podcast, following me on Instagram. You can get, I am for a limited time offering the Runner Rising Academy course for a $300 discount. In the previous way I have launched this, it has been a cohort-based group program. And right now I am launching it simply as a course because it's going into summer and I'm going to be spending more time with my kids. So I am going to be offering the course as a limited time $300 off offer, meaning it's going to be $699 and you get access to the entire system I just explained, that entire program, step by step by step. It includes ideas for those posts. It includes ideal athlete, more guidance on the ideal athlete worksheet and how to actually create your offer around it. You're going to get that email drip campaign I mentioned, an entire template where you can just plug and play and set it up. You're going to learn how to do the offer, how to launch or do that marketing window, how to have an effective sales call. You're going to learn all of that. And this is the accumulation of 9 years of experience where I have brought on over 1,000 clients, and I consider myself extremely good at marketing and at marketing to runners. So you're getting all of that knowledge. You can also add on a call with me. It's an hour-long call where we're going to go over whatever you bring to the call. You, at the very minimum, need to get to the ideal athlete. And I will give you ideas for your posts that you can do about it. I can also give you ideas on what to create for your free resource. And if you've gotten to the point of making the free resource, I can review that even. So that additional call is $500. You can add it on at checkout. And it's just really valuable. I think you'll find that a really nice complement to the Academy. You can also work with me one-on-one for custom business coaching. This is generally for coaches who are more senior in their business, who have at least 15 to 20 or more clients, and they're looking to scale their business, be more efficient, implement systems so they're not working so much. A lot of times run coaches that get to capacity and they're just overwhelmed. Or you can add on an additional offer that you can scale. So this would be maybe a group coaching program or a training schedules or anything like that. And I will help you customize, or I will create a custom business plan for you. We'll set goals and we'll meet on one-on-one calls every other week. So if you want to download these slides, get the pricing guide or special offer, go to runnerrising.com/bonus. And if you're interested in the Running Rising Academy or have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. That $300 off will expire. So make sure that you get that as soon as possible. All right. Thanks for listening.